The revocation of Ekrem Imamoglu's university degree is an explosive development in Turkish politics, not merely for its bureaucratic implications, but for its direct impact on the opposition's viability in the upcoming presidential race. Under the Turkish constitution, a presidential candidate must be over 40 and must hold a valid university degree. The annulment of Imamoglu's degree on grounds that its original institution in Turkish Cyprus lacked official representation at the time of his transfer to Istanbul, thus disqualifies him from the nomination process altogether. The Higher Education Council's YOK report has paved the way for a ruling by Istanbul University, which has now rescinded not only his diploma, but those of 27 others in the blanket decision labelled an obvious error. This is not merely a quibble, it's a calculated political decapitation. Imamoglu, the mayor of Istanbul, the leader of the municipality, was widely regarded as the strongest potential challenger to the current sitting president, President Erdogan, who won't be standing in 2028 anyway, and his popularity, particularly in urban centres and among younger secular voters, made him a serious threat to the ruling AKP. By undermining the legitimacy of his credentials, this manoeuvre eliminates a charismatic rival without the need for a political contest. What is interesting is, again, the national press, the international press, just doesn't deal with a lot of this stuff. It tells so the Times today talks about he is accused of corruption and aiding the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party. He is a popular member of the main opposition Republican People's Party, the CHP. He's widely seen as the most credible challenger. His university degree is said to have been revoked, a move that could render him unable. He's urged judges not to remain silent after he was arrested on corruption and terrorism charges, widely seen as politically motivated. But we don't get the details here. And I'm reading from the Times today. We don't get the details. The CHP insiders have warned that the process, the process with this university degree, it will be completed within days, and the process for nominating Imamoglu for the presidential race must be done within days, leaving no time for a course before the party's internal vote on March 23rd, where Imamoglu was expected to be the uncontested nominee. The affair smacks of administrative lawfare, the use of procedural tools to achieve political ends, and while technically within the boundaries of legal oversight, the timing and the coordination between the YOK, the prosecutor's office, the university, all raise questions about impartiality. It's also a cautionary tale about the vulnerability of political opposition in a system where institutional independence is increasingly under strain. I must say, I find it. I find the validation process of academic credentials very complex. Having moved myself from Oxford to Russia, and now actually, I'm actually in Istanbul, and I asked whether or not my degrees are recognised here, and I was, and I actually bizarrely I had a copy of my Oxford University degrees on me. Don't know why that was. And they said, well, no, we would need a transcript. And I said, what is a transcript? Transcript. What results did you get in your semesters? Well, Oxford doesn't work like that. And trying to explain that one of the oldest universities in the world doesn't produce transcripts, or at least didn't in 1983 or 84, whenever I graduated, is mind-numbing, really. And you think, well, if that can't be demonstrated, maybe Imamoglu's disqualification raises question marks as well. I don't think it's the end of his candidacy. It's a quite neutralization of a political movement. And I think there are genuine questions to be raised about his activities in real estate. As for the issue about whether or not his degree is valid, there ought to come a point where this sort of paperwork is simply assumed to be authentic. Whether whatever the case, too many years go by, and it becomes very difficult to actually get the real information. And we have to be really, I think we have to be really alert to the possibility that we've entered a world where bureaucracy is more important than reality. Now, my own personal opinion is, frankly, that there's something. If there's something dodgy about one part of Mr. Imamoglu's portfolio, there's probably something dodgy about other parts. And simply to preface everything as the BBC does, as the Times does, by saying that this is a political witch hunt, doesn't quite do justice to the sheer number of people who are caught in this upheaval, and the number of people who have already apparently confessed to wrongdoing. And indeed, the videos of buckets of money, buckets of cash being transported and counted, and it comes across. The optics are not good, I'm afraid. That's the blunt reality, and the idea that in contrast, Erdogan is clinging to power is simply absurd, given the fact that he is due to resign in 2028 or 2027. His tenure is coming to an end, and so it's not this desperate struggle to cling to power.